back to another video. I'm on the way to Edison for the training event that I'm going to for my company to make us a certified installer for the Structural Panel Concrete Subfloor by USG. So I just wanted to make a quick video of my journey there, and hopefully, I'm not even sure if I'm going to be able to film inside of there. I don't see why not, but I just wanted to take you guys along for the ride and see the life of construction through my eyes. So let me get back to driving, because I don't want to text and drive. This is pretty much like texting and driving, because I'm talking to you, you know. Distraction. You're a distraction. So I'll see you guys there.
Really there to simulate it, just to get an idea what we're talking about. You understand why we're going to put the tongue toward us. We don't want to tear that up when we're using the camera. Real simple. You got a full sheet and you got two half sheets. So just wanted to simulate kind of lining the ends up, that kind of thing. I want everybody to get a chance to put a few screws in. I know you've run a screw gun before, that's not the point. I want you to feel how it goes through our panel. It's definitely different than a wood subfloor. It feels a lot different. If you really try to push it and go really, really fast, you're going to have problems. You'll have a lot of spin outs. You'll have a lot of screws popping out of the collation. So once you get a rhythm, you'll find it goes really well, but you just can't go like you would with it, okay? So the gun, as I said, I'm sure all of you have done it before, but I want to go over it really quick. The settings that we talked about inside, downstairs in the room, is we've got a couple different ones. The first one we're going to do is we're going to set, right here, we're going to set 1 5/8 on the set pin, not the screw. Basically, you take the screw out, put it in. One thing I'll tell you is the screw does have a little bit of Loctite on it. So if you're going to be using the same screw, you may want to put a little Loctite back on it and put it in, because it can vibrate loose a little bit since you take it loose the first time. Once that's set, you should never have to change it unless you change fasteners. The next thing we're going to set is the block for the depth. All these guns are set, so you shouldn't have to adjust them too much, but feel free to play with it if you want to adjust it a little bit. Pull the knob out, turn it, the block moves. Real simple. The last but not least, the collation strip tensioner. I usually start them at 3 as just kind of a general rule. And once again, all we're trying to do there is so that the strip doesn't fall out. The cleaning process, canned air. You're going to spray it in these two areas. I can do this without hitting myself. You're going to spray it in here and here. I usually like to keep this area clean as well. Now in here, you're not going to get a lot of buildup, but if you're out on a job site, maybe it's not raining, but it's damp. This dust that comes off of this is a very fine dust. A little moisture in it, it's going to try to pack up. So you just take the canned air, you don't shake it, because if you shake it, it's now canned water instead of canned air. And we want it to be nice, clean air. So it's just spray in these areas like this. And that's it. I already did all these guns from last night, and Dave did one too. So that's all there is for setting up the gun. Now we're ready to load it. Just hold it vertical. Take your collated strip, slide it straight up, give yourself a little loop. You're going to put it right in this groove right here. There's 2 gears in there. You're going to feel these little plastic notches. We're going to fit right in those as it goes in. The first one right over where it's going to drive. Leave a loop. My experience is if you let it be tight, it'll jam up. You'll have a lot of misfeeds. You feel like if this is too loose, you can move this, make this a little tighter or looser. Like I said, all you're trying to do is make sure it doesn't fall backwards. Okay? That's all there is to it. Any questions about that? All right, we got four rats for you to work on. Split up into teams. Should have 4 or 5 guys on each station. Be safe. And I'll be walking around if you have any questions or concerns. Okay? Now we're going to talk about this patch. So I just got a little simulation thing here. I decided not to have you guys all pour your own because I didn't want anyone to have their hands stuck in or anything like that. Stuff dries, it's really hard. I did this one Tuesday. This is what I had left. I filled that patch. You can pass that around. That thing is really solid. This is the material we talked about that you can use to patch roads. Been using it for years. Right now it comes in 50-pound bags. We're working on...
What do they call
it? It's called USG Structural Panel Patch. The road patch product is still called EXG, is actually the product name that it's currently bagged at. We're going to have it in a smaller package.
So they use it on concrete road patching or
Both. Sell it by the pallet. Use it all over the place. So that material will go to fill any hole up to 6 inches. There's a couple of ways you can do it. We talked about the different methods, and I've already put one piece in. Now this is not a piece of flat strap. We just kind of had to make do with what we had here. But just to visualize this being a piece of flat strap, we're going to cut it to just slightly smaller than the hole. I put this on here, it's like a gasket, right? Put a piece of duct tape, just plain old duct tape, wrap it around the edges, and it creates like a little gasket. Material's pretty thin when you put it in. If you don't gasket it a little bit, it will, and it may still run out a little bit. It's kind of messy, but that's the best you can do. So you drive a drywall screw in here, you stick it through the hole. Obviously you're holding the screw. Use the screw to hold it up. And you put a couple of screws in from the top. That's why you need to use a 16 gauge, because this stuff just walks away when you try to put the screw. But a nice piece of 16 gauge flat strap will hold in there. Hold it tight. Drive a couple screws in, which is what we did here. Dave and I did this one yesterday or Tuesday. So you just put a couple of the same screws, the same fashions that we're using, right? These same guys. That holds the strap in place. The other option, if you can get to the bottom, which is the easiest one, is duct tape. Just take 3 pieces of duct tape. What I did was I just took a damp rag and wiped the panel down, let it dry, put 3 pieces of duct tape on there. That's what I'm going to do right now. So this is what I was talking about before. Did you see that or not? See how there's some loose fibers around that from the hole cut? That's okay. They're loose on one end, they're attached on the other, that's fine. You don't need to worry about that. Any loose material that's in there, any loose crumbs or anything should come out. So we're going to take the duct tape.
You have to make sure that's clean before you put the duct tape on?
Yes, I took a damp rag and I wiped it down and then I let it dry.
Does that product expand as it says?
No, it'll actually contract or shrink a little bit. So depending on how wet you mix it, you want to leave a little bit of crown on the patch. So it's a good question. Yeah, the question was, does the material expand when you pour it and it dries? No, it actually contracts like drywall mud does. A little bit, it shrinks up.
What's the PSI on that?
Off the charts. I don't know
Okay.
the number. It's off the charts. All right. You can see the patch that I did the other day on Tuesday. And I actually mixed that really wet. It was really thinner than I really wanted it to be. But it doesn't matter. It's still just as strong. It's just as strong as that piece that's going around.
Is there any information on that patch in that pamphlet that we have downstairs?
We didn't put a submittal sheet in there, but it is in the back of the repair manual. There's one of the little sections you have is the repair manual, and it talks about the product. Like I said, it'll eventually be rebranded in smaller packages for the use with this product. But here's the bag right here if you want to look at it. Shipped it in this, so it'd get here.
Right.
The USG product. I don't know where the plant got the bucket, but they got the bucket. All right, so we're going to do 5 parts of the powder to 1 part of water. Once again, it's not critical that you get it exact. You're really looking more for the consistency, the viscosity of the material that you're going to pour. So I already got a little bit of water, I've got a little bit of patch, and all I'm going to try to patch is these 2, so I don't need a ton of material. It doesn't need as much water as you might think. See, that was even too much.
Is that USG water?
No, that's good New Jersey. Training center water. You want to make sure it's nice and creamy. You don't want any lumps in it, because any lumps means it's unmixed material. You won't get the same set. But it mixes really nice and easy. I'm going to add a little little bit more because I don't think I have enough for both patches.
How many eggs?
I don't have enough vanilla. Do we have any vanilla?
2 eggs.
Vanilla is a key component of cookies. I'm a cookie guy. It's all about the consistency of the mix. I tell you it's 5-to-1 just because of a general rule, but it's all about the consistency. That's all that really matters. See, I got too much water. It's easy to get too much water. Struggling here, guys. No, I just can't get it right. You guys are a tough crowd, man.
I would have laid you off.
Tuesday night guys were a lot nicer than you guys.
I would have laid you off an hour ago.
That's good, because I wouldn't come back.
Take your cup.
Man, tough crowd. All right. I think we're good despite the fact that I just got fired.
Like a perfect pair.
That's it. That's it. Now that's a little thicker mix, so it won't shrink back quite as much. But you notice I did pretty good getting that one right. There's not a whole lot of variation in that surface.
How long does it take to dry?
It'll set in 5 to 10 minutes, and it's dry to the touch. Walk on in about an hour, depending on the environment. Obviously, if it's a hot, wet day, it'll take a little longer. But the chemical set, similar to drywall hot set mud, same kind of thing. Yep.
So without putting any reinforcement besides the metal underneath in that hole, that patch won't blow right through there?
No, the question was, you don't have to put any reinforcement in there? No, that patch will not come out. I mean, I don't have a hammer here, but it's unbelievable. We actually did 6-inch holes to test them with, and we put a patch, and it was actually stronger than the panel next to it.
So how does it not just pop through with
The question is, how does it not pop through? It's so strong a bond. Creates such a great bond between this material and the cement panel.
Bring that sledgehammer over here.
You did ask for a hammer.
There you go.
Oh, the cameras are rolling.
The water going.
Yeah, I don't want to break your camera. Trust me, it's really strong. It really does a great job. Remember, if we have to patch anything more than 6 inches, we got to replace the panel, right? So we're either going to cut back, like let's say there was a joist here, just for conversation's sake. We'd cut back to that joist, leaving some space to screw it down. Cut back to here. We might have to put a piece of framing in here if there wasn't. Replace that panel, or that section of panel. Okay?
Not the whole panel.
No, but you have to go to framing because you're going to have square ends, right? So we have to have that secured with full framing, not catch blocking and not strapping. It has to be full framing. The only other exception to that is if you have a lot of penetrations, like in a utility chase, that kind of thing. You might have to put some blocking around that, even though none of the holes are too big. We're actually working on an algorithm for that to give you, so you know. But you know what I'm talking about. If you go in a corner in Swiss cheese, block it, put some framing.
So you were saying that like when you put a sheet down, you gotta catch at least 2 studs, right? You say something like you gotta catch a sheet.
Yeah, the question is about alignment with studs. We're going to have all the square cut ends are going to be on framing. When we offset our sheets, we're going to offset the ends to framing cavities.
So if you had a hole that was bigger than 6 inches, you gotta make sure you cut that much back.
Well, you could either cut it back, or you could put a new piece in there with that framing that's already there. So you could cut it if it's 16-inch framing. You could cut back to that 16-inch spot, go the whole distance, and then just put a new piece in. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah, but it contradicts what you're doing with a whole sheet. Like, well, when you're saying, let's say, like, you're gonna lay out the whole building, right? You don't wanna, like, start and then you wanna lay out the whole thing and wind up with a 1-foot piece.
Right.
You said you want to span 2.
Want to span 2 until you get to the ends of your runs where you have less than a full length panel, then you only have to span 1. Because you're not going to be able to span 1. You can, but we don't want the whole floor done that way. And the whole reason is we're trying to offset those joints. That's the whole thing, right? Just like wood subfloor, we want to offset those joints. It's a good design practice, helps with the diaphragm.
I understand that part, but I'm just saying, I just want to, but you can cut a smaller hole in this than you would say if you were putting the whole sheet down, or it's comparable?
But if you're framing it, you're not really spanning only in one spot. It's fully framed, right?
So you have to frame it, the whole thing all the way around?
Yeah, oh, absolutely, because now you're going to have a square cut end. All square cut ends have to be supported by full framing. So if this is an 8-inch structural steel and you have to cut this section out, you're going to have to put in the same framing. Yeah. All right. Good job, guys.
Hey, so we just finished our training. That's where I was, Northeast Regional Council of Carpenters Apprentice Training Center. It's very, very cool. I learned a lot about this concrete subfloor, which you could basically, it's not an underlayment. You can't use it for a finished layer. You have to put something over it. So you could use it for subfloor, for roof decking. Take a look at that. Isn't that such a nice looking building? Thank you for tuning in, and I will see you guys in another episode.